Hello and welcome. This is the beautiful game. My name is Mike. Hafiz is here with me.
Yeah.
And we just saw the semi-final, the first semi-final of the World Cup playoffs African stage, and Nigeria defeated Gabon 4-1
Yeah.
after extra time. Of course, it was 1-1 regulation time and all of that. What are your thoughts about this result?
I mean, this scoreline does not even, it doesn't tell the whole story.
It doesn't, right?
It doesn't flatter the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
It doesn't.
I mean, there's a lot to take away from this game.
It
There was
doesn't.
drama everywhere. At some point, it looked like the Super Eagles were home and dry, and the Gabonese, came back deservedly so, because it was a game of 2 halves. To be honest with you, and the Super Eagles had the first half chances, being missed. VAR drama. I think it was a perfect, semi-final.
Okay, just before you know what happens,
everything.
Just before we go into the lineups, let's just take a look at the stats. Since you just mentioned stats and all of that, and ball possession was almost equal, but this is where this match, a lot happened, and that had to do with the shots.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, 17-4.
Yeah,
that was massive. On target, 12-3. Osimhen, before his 2 goals, missed like maybe 5, 6
including
chances.
a guilt. In fact, a chance that you'll have put all your money on that Victor Osimhen was going to score that one, and he missed. I mean, yes, like you said, it was a game of 2 halves in my opinion. The Super Eagles went more decisive, but then they met a brick wall, and also the goalkeeper as well. But the Gabonese in the second half, they had all the possession, they came through, but they couldn't. They could not test.
But
the
that
goalkeeper.
is that thing. Let's just look at that. 17-12.
Yes.
17. Okay, just move back a little to the beat, and then
12
12
on target.
12. That was the tail of the tape. Where the Super Eagles, of course, were dominant when it comes to chances.
Of course, they were. They were.
Okay.
But then it was all about conversion, and it took them until the extra time, to convert. I mean, we saw the first goal coming from Akko Adams, and the equalizer came from Victor Osimhen's, Galatasaray team. The build up to the game, I mentioned the 2 of them.
You did.
They
mentioned Lemina,
they gave us they gave us goals. But Victor Osimhen, Victor Osimhen, he does Victor Osimhen things, scoring 2 goals, but he had Nigerians on the edge of their seats. That was a chance he should be scoring, and even prior to that, he had missed chances earlier. I mentioned VAR drama in the first half. Yes, there was a time where the Super Eagles got the ball into the box. There was a shout for an handball, and yes, you're about to talk about referee Tom Abongile.
Abongile, you see, there was pressure on Abongile, and that's because Nigerians put pressure on the South African referee.
Yeah,
because there was a complaint. There was sort of a complaint to CAF. I don't know if it was made official.
Yeah.
Why would the South African ref know, because of conflict of interest as well, which I didn't think there was an issue. Yeah. But I think that was a penalty.
Of course.
Yes.
I think the 2 cases were penalties.
Yes. When Abongile, when he went to the VAR, you could see that he didn't want to give it, and there was that argument back and forth with the VAR, or that discussion.
Yeah.
If it was, if the stakes were not too high. Because look, there was that pull on the guy.
That's talking about the ones involving the Super Eagles player and the Gabonese player as well. For me, that was a penalty, because the player was the one going for the ball. If he had missed the Super Eagles player, he was going directly to the Gabonese. But then there was a pullback. But I think it was like to correct, the earlier, the one that he also stood and he listened for the instructions from the VAR. But this, I think, good job from Abongile.
Exactly. Yeah. This was the goal.
This was the
first. It was basically
goal.
Like a gift, right? It was basically like a gift.
Yeah, I think it was the defender right there who gave a gift to the goalkeeper. It was a back pass. It was intended to be a back pass, but the goalkeeper reacted slowly, and Akko Adams, just like the predator that he is in front of goal, and he went on and did his job.
At this point, there was nothing that could be done.
Yeah.
There was nothing that could be done by the time he gave that back pass.
Yeah, I feel sorry for I feel sorry for Aaron Apina. It was a harmless back pass. He just wanted to give the ball back to his goalkeeper.
Exactly.
But then maybe next time, as a professional, you should be aware. You should be aware of what's around you.
Look at this. By the time he had the ball, but that's the points that we're trying to make there. There was no awareness. He had the ball, and then something I love from the Eagles was the high press.
That press, it was there.
The high press. We see them getting ready to move. Getting ready to move, seeing that he might make that mistake.
Of course.
Getting ready to move it. And if you just take it up and look at it a few minutes, and there,
Yeah, of course. You can't do that when you have the Seamen around you, when you have Moses Simon around you. You can't do that.
And then it so happens that all 3 are bearing on
goal. Anyone could have scored. Anyone could have scored.
He was just in a no man's land. There was nothing he could do.
Now people were even blaming the goalkeeper on Baba. There was nothing he could have done. There was nothing he could have done. A striker was expected to put that away, and he did.
All right. Okay. Let's take a look at that equalizing goal here by Lemina. It was a deflection. people expected. I don't know what were you expecting. Were you expecting Wabali to go after the deflection? For me, there was nothing Wabali could do.
Deflections are really, really hard to catch. I won't blame Stanley Wabali, but you know, they said there's one thing about being beaten at the near post. You know, for example, if it was a straight shot, and if it was a straight shot, that ball was going. That ball was going to. It was going to Wabali.
Exactly. Saved the ball. There was nothing that I could do.
Yeah, it was a wicked deflection of the unfortunate Osai Samuel.
Exactly.
But I appreciate Mario Lemina for even trying to go for goal, because they just had to, you know, do something. And you mentioned something before we came in. You said they considered 3 and scored 4. Gabon will always find a way to come back. But I think they were just tired.
I mean, there was no. I mean, come on now. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Takes the shot. Hits off defender. The keeper is already going this way.
Of course, the ball was not even going to go this way. The ball was like maybe going to end here. Exactly. Wabali was going to get that ball, but then this deflection, you know, it alters the movement of the ball, and there was nothing they could do.
There was nothing. There was nothing for me. There was nothing that could be happening there.
But Mike, I think for all the good that the Super Eagles have done, I think this is the man. This is the man right here. I think he's the one that Nigerians are really, 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 really worried about. And he even showed it in this game. It's G3.
I don't think that's an issue now.
It is an issue. Let's move forward. If you have more decisive teams, it's a problem.
At this kind of time, you know, this was the miss. This would have ended the match in normal time.
I mean, I'm sure Aubameyang must have had his heart in his mouth, like, oh, what did I just do? Come on.
There was just too much
this on a normal day.
On a normal day, come on. See, at this point, Baba, you go here, or you go forward and go around the keeper.
Mike, you can dink. You can do whatever you want to do.
For all
the comparisons that we have with him better than Harry Kane, him better than Erling Haaland, and all of that. These are chances those guys will put away.
Nobody's who says it's better.
We saw that after the Benin Republic game, where they were saying Victor Osimhen is nobody's mate. I'm sure that's what will be changing right now.
I mean, it was shocking that it was even not on target.
Of course,
it was shocking that was not on target.
And he had missed chances like that
before that time.
All right, just about the same. But
all right, but then of course, Sevilla came through for us. Chidera Ejike with that goal and all of that. I saw a lot, and you remember we mentioned that if the Eagles play the way they play against Benin, and for me this was even better than the way they played against Benin.
Yeah, two things, Mike, I will take from this goal. Number one, Chidera Ejike. Yeah, people have been clamoring for him to be called up to give us an extra, space on the wings, and he did better than Samuel Chukwueze did, in the game. He didn't even make us miss Samuel Chukwueze. That's one. And two, you have to give credit to Wilfred Ndidi. He has gotten a yellow card from the 7th minute of the game, and he was still able to compose himself and give that assist. And someone said maybe he wanted to give Victor Osimhen, but like, hey, you missed that chance earlier. Let me try another person, and then we took it away from there.
He finally got this goal, which was the 3rd goal. But a number of people are talking about the keeper. The keeper could and should have done better.
This is a what is an Untuari moment. It was. That was the what is an Untuari moment, and this time is what is an Umbaba, because that was a save. That was a save from Umbaba. But then people are saying there was a shot on Osimhen's, but no, I don't see any shot power on that one. That was a chance it should be saving. But look at the assist maker, Benjamin Fredericks. That guy has a future. He has a future. For me, Nigeria's best centre back.
And this was the wrap up. This was how it came to wrap up.
Absolutely.
Victor Osimhen, of course, with his 2nd goal, Nigeria's 4th goal, and of course there was no coming back.
That's the typical Victor Osimhen goal. That's the typical Victor Osimhen goal, where he just brushes off the defender, the Drogba stance, and I mean that's Victor Osimhen for you.
If that first miss showed that he was profligate, if that first miss showed this one, I mean, look at this guy. How do you explain?
You want to take it back?
Alone, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around him.
Absolutely, that is Victor Osimhen for you.
This is it. This is the person that people are comparing with Kane and Haaland.
Yeah, so that means we can say that Victor Osimhen is better when defenders are around.
Around him,
I think it's better when he sees nobody. He feels
it's a problem. It's a problem, man. It's a problem.
Good one for the top scorer of the Champions League at the moment. You just want to give it to him.
And he went and come on, beautiful goal.
Beautiful goal. Yeah,
and that wrapped it up. That wrapped it up. So as it stands, Eric Shell really got it right on this one.
Yeah,
we can give it up to Eric Shell for the lineup,
of course,
the way they stood together, the way they came together, the team, the way they played. He got it right.
He got it right, and especially from the substitutions. I mean, when he saw that nothing was happening on the wings, he took off Lukman and Chukwueze. He took off Lukman and Chukwueze.
That's something that
brought in Simon.
these two, when they went out.
Here it is. You can't hide. You can't hide
because Wobi was more in the center. Forget this one. So when they took out these two, a lot of things started happening.
A lot of things, including Chidera Ejuke. He was coming as a defender, even though that decisive ball into the box wasn't really coming. But then we could see that wing play was now being in full effect. It was in full motion, and our goals came from there. Looking at that, Osai Samuel, I think, also did a great job. Benjamin Fredericks, best centre back for Nigeria at the minute, and Basi also did his job. Aubameyang was really, for me, nowhere to be found. Denny Bouanga was also locked up on the wing. I think they did their job. And hopefully they will continue that when they face the winner between Cameroon and Congo.
All right. We'll bring you updates on that one. We'll talk about Cameroon and Congo when that match is done. And then, of course, we're going to preview the final when Nigeria will play that winner. And we'll see how it goes for Africa's sole representative to the Intercontinental Playoff. All right?
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting this channel. Please like the channel, subscribe, and
10,000 before the end of the year.
Turn on notifications, and we'll keep doing our best to give you the contents that you love. See you in our next video. Bye-bye.